Hey everyone, thanks for watching. This is a very interesting fight because Ikram is taking it on short notice. It's helpful that Whittaker was training for Chimaev because we can only assume there was a lot of wrestling and grappling specific training in his camp. Stylistically, Chimaev is quite different than Ikram. He sets a much faster pace. He comes out wrestling right away, and Ikram entertains the fight on the feet much more and sets a different pace. So Ikram does have some pop in his punches, and that's what's going to be interesting here. Whether or not Ikram can find Whittaker's chin and replicate what Dricus did, I think that's a bit of a stretch to say that Ikram has a kind of explosive power that someone like Dricus, Costa, or Yoel Romero has. But at this stage, it may be more of a case of Whittaker's chin than it is Ikram's power, I think. Nonetheless, Whittaker's best chances are certainly keeping the standing, and Ikram's style offers some openings that play to Whittaker's strengths. He was knocked out by Chimaev with that uppercut. Phil Haas, he found some openings as well, but otherwise Ikram has been dominant in most of his outings. And given where Ikram comes from, he has that dominant style, so when we think about the last two outings in the UFC, it doesn't give me too much context into how good he really is. In my opinion, Warley and Phil were both on a significant decline, especially for the likes of Ikram's style. So is Bobby Knuckles on a decline like that? I know some think he's past his prime, but does that matter here? Does he need to be in his prime to defeat Ikram? There's a lot to learn here, and the short notice circumstances is definitely interesting. So Ikram has a bit of a longer reach, and at the weigh-ins he was noticeably taller, so I find that quite interesting in this fight as well. People talk about Whittaker's jabs, his footwork, his wrestling, but what I'm impressed by, in my opinion, is his timing and how he reads his opponents. And he times them coming in, and that's when all those other things come into play. When you look at his fight with Kelvin Gastelum, every time Gastelum lifted his lead leg, I don't even think Gastelum realized it. He timed the entry so well. So Gastelum, over the course of 5 rounds, he could not figure out how to enter the pocket. And then we also saw that in the first round with Dricus. I know he lost that fight, and then he did get caught coming in. I mean, he's a powerhouse. But before that, when he was fighting Dricus, he was timing him perfectly, and it even led to him taking him down. Whittaker took down Dricus, I mean to say. But when Whittaker gets these reads wrong, sometimes his own explosive entry into range becomes detrimental. And we saw this with Darren Till, and we saw this with Dricus. Ikram has a solid jab. He loves to use the teep or push kicks. He'll swarm his opponents with punches that go around the guard. Ikram and Whittaker just have a few things in common on the feet, and I think Whittaker's timing and reads may be enough to get the job done against Ikram and win enough rounds. Whittaker has shown very good wrestling defense against the likes of Romero or Souza, but it's important to recognize the domination that a lot of the Dagestani fighters have when it comes to wrestling and grappling. They're more unconventional on the feet with explosivity, flying knees, swarming punches that eventually lead to them getting a hold of their opponents. However, because this is such a big step up in competition, I'm hesitant to say with any confidence that this will be a major advantage for Ikram. And the same goes for my confidence of whether Whittaker will be effective in defending it. My assumption is that Whittaker may do well early on, but over the course of 5 rounds, if Ikram chains takedowns together and smothers, Whittaker could succumb to that style, like so many fighters have in the past. So my guess is that most people are either all in on Ikram to win by any means, that's knockout, submission, or decision. And then people choosing Whittaker are likely by decision, and some may even see it being a knockout or a TKO. It's tough to say, but I have a lot of questions that need to be answered, and given this short notice, I just think Bobby Knuckles' experience, his footwork, his timing, and ability to read his opponent's tendencies give him an edge in this fight. So I side with the group that chooses Bobby Knuckles by knockout over the course of 5 rounds, but more likely, I think it's probably a decision victory. Thank you for watching.